foreign companies should be prohibited from leasing Australian ports. So this is based on Chinese companies wanting to lease Australian ports and growing fear around China's involvement in Australian politics. So that's where this is coming from, I think.
If this concern is really there for Australia, I think they should rather emphasis on themselves developing these ports than leasing to someone else. And number two, if they want to lease it, they should not be giving this for a long lease like 99 years. Maybe have it for 3-4 years and then revisit, have a contract again, revisit, have a contract again. Rather than leasing your ports much to outsiders, probably if in the fear of foreign countries evading or taking these ports, probably it is better for Australia to invest in their own ports.
Yeah, I mean, there's a free trade component to this, I'm sure. So
what's the concern here? Are they worried that a port that is supposed to be used for trade is going to be used for military purposes by Chinese government? Australian ports in Australian waters.
I don't know if that's a popular theory, but it is certainly one that I've heard from the far right on different platforms. It is a concern. Yeah.
See, I believe Australia has good satellite surveillance, right? So if someone enters their waters, posing as a trade ship, they can certainly make it out, right? People would make these things out even during World War II times. So, I mean, by mistake, the people have even sunk trade ships during war times. But it's never like you would never give a benefit or doubt, right? I mean, if you have doubtful, they generally sink the ship, or they generally surround the ship, even if it's a trade ship, if they're suspicious. So, I think given that state of things, I think given that is the default position for any military, any surveillance kind of thing, I don't know what's the point.
It is around the credibility of China and how they build the ports and what infrastructure they built there. It might be showcasing for you, I mean, for anyone that they're building a port for development, but actually they are conspiracy theories and people don't want to believe in all these things that something else is going on in those ports. It's around the credibility of China, the whole thing is being built up.
I think if China wants to, like seize a port, have a secret outpost that no one wants to look at, then maybe they'll do it in Polynesia, which is close to Australia.
So this is an extension of Polynesia that they are feared of. So they're thinking that they are entering into our waters and our land as well. So that's a fear. It's a genuine fear that's there in the community.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Where do we stand,
Babu
Arjun?
Gogineni? Look, I would say somewhat disagree. I think it doesn't make sense to prohibit them outright. I think there should be laws around it. There should be control mechanisms. There should be nuance. We can't just say we don't want international trade. I mean, it's part of setting up a trade relationship with a country, I feel. What do you feel about it?
But say, for example, let me give you a counter argument. Say, for example, you prohibit them. Now they want some sort of water. Say they want some sort of supremacy over the waters. They want some control of the waters. How do you know that if Australia prohibits this, the Chinese would start looking at outright trying to buy out countries like New Guinea or something like that did with Sri Lanka? I mean, what makes you think that Chinese won't do that if they don't allow it in Australia? In Australia, at least you can monitor them, right? If they really do that, if they really dare to do that. I don't
Papua New
think
Guinea
in
Australia has got good connections. I'm sure that some aid is being provided to Papua New Guinea by China. Of course, Australia it protects by giving them a better thing. For sure, it will protect the Papua New Guinea as well.
I mean, I'm just arguing that maybe if we prohibit, that might actually make things worse in the Pacific. Yeah. Is that Pacific Indian Ocean? Yeah.
I
somewhat disagree is okay for me as well.
Yeah.
I mean, China has a history of doing that, right? So
that is the whole problem. Credibility is the issue.
Yeah.
I think all infrastructure should belong to the nation as long as there are nation states. I think food production and infrastructure and foreign policy, all three should be with the nation, not with anyone else. That includes airlines, that includes railways, roads, dams, water supply, food production, or at least its distribution, should be guided by policy or owned by government. And all that should be for domestic. Foreign money can disappear in no time. Foreign money is there for profit. Whereas I think infrastructure is to sustain growth, to keep a country alive. So, and we have seen how dangerously malicious many of these companies are. I mean, when you were talking China, you were saying Chinese as in Chinese government. But a company can be a proxy for a government. It could be just a malicious multinational. We know how Soros, that great free market advocate, went and played games with the pound sterling. The pound sterling had to leave the basket currencies, come out to save the sterling from collapse. Almost like a terrorist attack on the currency. Yeah. So I'd keep them all with the nation.
So you would agree?
Oh, absolutely. Strongly agree.
Okay. So I think we were around somewhat disagree. So should we stick it in neutral for now? Sorry, you're on mute.
Somewhat disagree for me still.
Okay, cool. So I think on balance, we'd kind of be neutral, I think. Yeah.
The prohibition seems, I mean, too arbitrary for me. I mean, there could be like 10, 15, big companies, Chinese or Taiwanese or South Korean. But I mean, we can't, I don't know whether.
Yeah. All good. We'll move on to the next one. The federal government should commit to funding a pay increase for aged care workers.